welcome to Behind the Music for Daily Hope and Happy Advent too. This week we're talking about peace, celebrating the Prince of Peace who's coming, and we're anticipating the arrival of his birth in Bethlehem. So this week the sermon and the hymns are all going to be focused around this idea of peace. And one of the hymns that I selected is a very old Advent tune from the mid-17th century. It was written in Germany by Johann Olearius. Now, do any of you have a friend whose last name has all of the vowels in it? I don't know anybody, but Mr. Olearius did. Now, he was born into a family of Lutheran theologians. He went and studied theology at Wittenberg, and then he went on to teach in Wittenberg. He wrote a commentary of the Bible. It doesn't get much more Lutheran than Olearius. Now, one of the things that he did was compile a German hymnal that was widely used in German-speaking countries, and it was vast. It had over 1,200 hymns in it, of which 302 he wrote himself. Now, when you look at the compilation, it seemed like he put all the hymns in that they wanted to have, and then he wrote these poems or hymns to fill in the spaces that he thought needed to be covered. And so like the season of Advent, it could have been that he felt we needed more Advent hymns, and so he took the task upon himself to write a really good Advent hymn. So this is talking about peace. Comfort, comfort now, my people. And I'm going to read you the first verse. Comfort, comfort now, my people. Tell of peace, so says our God. Comfort those who sit in darkness, mourning under sorrow's load. To God's people now proclaim that God's pardon waits for them. Tell them that their war is over. God will reign in peace forever. Now, the tune that he set this text to predates the text by about 100 years. In 1551, it was in the Genevan Psalter. It can be called Genevan 42. We also know it as Freu, dich, sehr. And so let me play you that tune so you have it in your ear. There's a very fun setting of this by the Austrian composer Anton Heiller. Now, Heiller lived in Austria and was well known in the 20th century as an organist and a composer. And I'm privileged to have studied with two of his students, both my college professor, Judy Glass, and August Humer, who I went to Austria to study with after college, were students of Anton Heiller. And through them, I can trace my lineage all the way back to Johann Sebastian Bach. Now, I don't know how much of Bach's teaching I actually got through all of those hundreds of years, but it's kind of cool to be able to say I have a direct link through my teachers and through their teachers all the way back to the great composer Bach. So Heiller, he was writing in the 20th century, really different tonality than they had in 1551. But he took this melody, Freu, dich, sehr, and he set it in a partita. Now, partita is just kind of a fancy word for variations. And so this is a set of variations which organists love because it gives us an opportunity to show you different sounds and different colors of the organ. So I'm just going to play a few snippets of each of the variations to give you a little glimpse into how this was set in the 20th century. The first one is very calm, kind of peaceful, and I'm just going to use some flutes on the organ. So you could see there how clearly the melody is in the right hand. It's the same tune that we heard, but you can already get a glimpse of it being a little bit more modern than what we heard in our hymnal. The next variation doesn't have any pedal. Now, often we think of organ music as needing to have pedal. There were actually many organs built over the years that didn't have pedals because it cost so much more to create the big long pipes. But Heiller just wanted to show off something different here with a little part, two parts for the hands. So let's play this a little bit faster, a little bit more lively. that fun? Now the melody is not standing out drastically there, but you can hear it hidden in the different figurations. Very cool. I love that variation. Now the next one does have pedal, and he specified in the music that he wants it to be used with a 4-foot. Now our standard length of the pipes, like we would sing at, would be an 8-foot. So the 4-foot is a little bit higher, maybe like a children's choir or something. Sounds like this. So even though it sounds high, I'm playing that with my feet. And then I have to wrap my brain around the idea of playing the accompaniment with my hands, which is kind of backwards sometimes. The final variation of this set, he's simply called chorale. So chorale is like what we sing a hymn. It's very stately. The notes are all lined up. We're singing full chords, but the chords that he's written are very different than the hymnal chords. Remember, it's the mid-20th century. They've kind of broken free from these constraints of classical and romanticism and trying something new. But it's still very cool, and the melody is very prominent. And I think it really fits the last line of this phrase, of this hymn that says, "Tell them that their war is over. God will reign in peace forever." So it's very strong and very stately. And I hope you'll claim this promise this week as we celebrate Advent and continue heading towards Christmas. I'll be back again with you next week.